So I really don't know what to call this. Is it like Workout Wednesday or Workout Tier List Tuesday? But regardless, we're doing both today. Oh, shit. I headbutted the microphone. What's going on with your big dog? And it is an amazing day for Yu-Gi-Oh! I hope that your day is going phenomenal, but if it isn't, don't let what happened at the beginning of your day ruin the rest of your day. Speaking of days, it is Workout Tier List Tuesday. We don't get those too often, but today I'm going to be giving you some workout advice that either helps you on your journey or hopefully gets you in your journey if you're thinking about starting. The best thing that can happen when you're in the gym is to have somebody as consistent as you, somebody that wants it just as much as you, somebody that wants to climb the top of the mountain and be the strongest of the strongest, and I just so happen to have that. Sabrina is, I gotta say, she a little bit of a workout warrior. She be hitting the gym. She actually inspired me to wake up earlier than I normally do. Now I wake up at 4:30 in the morning and hit the gym a lot harder. The gym actually becomes a lot easier when you have a partner, but let me actually give you a piece of advice. If your partner doesn't feel motivated as you to hit the gym, well, don't waste your time trying to get them to go to the gym. I know that may seem like a little bit of a downer, but if somebody doesn't want the exact same goal as you, then at the end of the day, they're holding you back and you're holding them back from actually achieving what they want to achieve. Sometimes you got to cut off the dead weight, even if it isn't necessarily your weight. But one thing that has 100% been weighing me down is the changes that happen on this particular Forbidden list. Not only did we lose Predaplant Anaconda, meaning that summoning Destiny Hero Phoenix Enforcer will not be as easy, completely warping the meta, but also the banning of Mechafana, Beast Auroradon, as well as a flurry of other moves completely changes our meta. Have no fear, guys. I know that you have an event coming up this weekend. Really bad idea, Konami, to release a Forbidden list a couple of days before said event, but we're going to be going over a tier list that will better suit this particular format and show you what are the top strategies that you may be seeing at your event. So let's go ahead and jump on in, as I have 5 different categories here. Meta changers are the strategies that are considered the best of the best, the cream de la crop. These are tier 1 decks, but because of these particular strategies, they completely warp the entire meta and are the meta changers, which defines the meta. From there, we have tier 1 strategies. These decks can go toe-to-toe with meta changer, but don't warp the format out how meta changer decks do. Tier 2 are strategies that are fairly good. They necessarily may not be great against certain tier 1 or meta strategies, but because of how the meta has evolved, they definitely have their stuff together. And then there's no slight to rogue strategies, as they can always win at the drop of a dime, but they may not be as consistently as strong as tier 2, tier 1, or meta changers. And then, of course, everyone's favorite, oh no, what are you doing, baby? My guys like to call this the Arby's tier because it ain't going nowhere, dog, not over here. So with that being said, let's go ahead and start off with the first archetype. Invoked is a strategy that is heavily affected with Predaplant Anaconda being banned. I think we did say it was a tier 2 deck before. TheCaliEffect said no, it's actually one of the best decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! But I think that even he'll agree, Predaplant Anaconda being banned is actually a pretty big problem for Invoked. The reason why I say this is because this is a strategy that likes to meld a ton of strategies together, whether it be the branded, Shaddoll, and of course Destiny Hero Phoenix Enforcer. Using that catalyst from Predaplant Anaconda to be able to send the appropriate fusion spell card to the graveyard definitely hurts a lot. Regardless, this is still a fairly powerful strategy, as hand traps are going to be seen as really impactful now because there are so many ways to stop your opponent and they won't be able to combo forward. I think that Invoked is a solid tier 2 deck. TheCaliEffect, don't beat me up, would potential to be tier 1 depending on how the format starts to unfold. Moving forward, Cyber Dragon. This is one of the sneakiest rogue decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! No one really sees it coming, so players still summon in that extra monster zone, and as a smart Cyber Dragon player, you can always punish by summoning that Chimera Tech Mega Fleet Dragon, getting rid of your opponent's cards. Also, The loss of Destiny Hero Phoenix Enforcer does hurt Cyber Dragon because you can't necessarily make Predaplant Vert Anaconda for that extra negate. You also can't get in contact with your branded engine after Exceed summoning into Cyber Dragon Infinity, so my best bet is to actually make a going second Cyber Dragon deck that is built on breaking your opponent's board and OTKing your opponent, or maybe a trap-based Cyber Dragon deck that is built on controlling the game. The loss of Vert does change this deck significantly, but I still think it's a solid rogue deck. Next, moving on to Ignister. I really want to put him at tier 2, but I would love to see Ignister show me something. This format is actually set up for Ignister to be really good. Not only are hand traps going to be seen as more impactful, as the opponent just can't turn around and make a Vert Anaconda or a Huckley Fighter's play after being hand trapped, this is a strategy that can mainboard a full array of them and Crossout Designator. Also, I think that this just might be one of the best decks to play Decode Talker Heat Soul because it does allow you to draw into extra hand traps and doesn't necessarily stop the combo. The arrival at Ignister is a very hard card to deal with and is unaffected by all card effects that can be pretty problematic against even some of the top decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! But the reason why I'm putting in Rogue is because it's always had those pieces, and Destiny Hero Phoenix Enforcer isn't necessarily a threat to the strategy. I want to see at Ignister players show me that this could be one of those better decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! So therefore, I'm going to put it in Rogue for now. It's in that show me form, guys. DDD, has already shown itself to be a solid tier 2 deck. Hand traps doesn't necessarily affect this strategy as much as you would want it to be, as long as it can keep on summoning DDD monsters and make the DDD Gilgamesh to set up free scales and then Pendulum summon, you're in the clear. And even when making said monster, you better hope you don't destroy it because it'll trigger its effect and then continue to extend. This is a deck that is really good at playing past hand traps, and again, we can see that hand traps will be a little bit more impactful, and you're going to need one of those strategies to do that. DDD Yu-Gi-Oh card, it's a free Exceed summon on any of your DDD monsters, so watch out for that particular card. You should already know by now, with no hits to the strategy, hits to everything else, this becomes easily the meta changer deck, almost mind warping on how powerful this deck can be. Despia Branded is a fusion-based deck that doesn't have too many weaknesses and is only getting stronger as players have started to figure out like, yo, normal summon Albaz is kind of cracked right now. And being able to get into that with a card like Incredible Ecclesia to gain advantage, I actually have to say, Branded is the strategy that fusions really needed. It's a strategy that literally plays polymerization, fusion summons, loses its advantage, but then gains it all back through the fusion summon mechanic. I have to say that this is genuinely a perfect fusion strategy, hands down. Dinos, guys. Dinos are solid tier 2. Because we're in a format where token cards are still going to be prevalent due to the adventure token engine, and players are in a fusion format, meaning that those fusion monsters can be flipped face down, well, you still got Dinos that can use Ultimate Conductor Tyranno to break boards and Token Collector to not only gain advantage by triggering the effect of Lost World, but also when you want to, prevent your opponent from playing token cards. This strategy is still a solid tier 2 deck. Now, in my last tier list, I said the Dimension Force tier list that Dinomorphia was a casual deck. I think that I'm going to give it a slight upgrade. It is a fairly good rogue deck. My biggest problem with this deck is that you couldn't make Dinomorphia Rexsturm in one card. You can make Dinomorphia Rexsturm in one card. That is incredibly powerful and swag points to any Dinomorphia player that can win on 69 life points or 420 life points. If you doing that, you swagging, dog. This is one of the only strategies in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! That can play on like 69 life points, which is kind of cool. Moving forward, I genuinely think because of Dimension Force, zombies got stronger. Legitimately, just activating and resolving Zombie World is a free win against a lot of strategies. Think Swordsoul, think Flundereeze, who are actually extremely good. We'll talk about those when we get there. And some of even the rogue strategies, this is just another free win. Think I can't say that because I don't want to reveal anything, but let's just say Dino is really going to struggle against Zombie World, which instantly makes this a very solid deck. Also, some of the best hand traps in Yu-Gi-Oh! In Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, as well as Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion, Doom King Ballard Rock can literally just trigger its effect off of your opponent using it, whether it's negating it or just banishing cards on your opponent's side of the field for them attempting to use those zombie monsters against you. Drytron, guys, I'm going to make a really, really bold take. I'm going to say Drytron is tier 1. So, the reason why I say Drytron is tier 1 is because, yes, we did lose the Predator Plant Vert Anaconda for a Drytron player, but what you gained was Benton. Players seem to forget how powerful Benton was. It wasn't necessarily searching the fairy monster, though that was like amazing, phenomenal. Mwah. It was great. But the biggest thing about this is that Natasha became an extremely broken card. Konami has realized that going second using cards like Change Your Heart, which just came off the Forbidden List, and Mind Control are pretty good. Well, this strategy has a way to snatch your opponent's monsters multiple times in a turn, is searchable, and with Cyber Ancient Benton just became a lot more consistent, and of course, got another target to be able to resolve Natasha. Also, keep in mind, Natasha is a card that can give you life points. So if you're ever in that situation where your opponent is going into time, or you're going into time with your opponent, oh, just summon Natasha and gain life points. I do think that this is probably a low-end tier 1, high-end tier 2 deck. Eldlich, guys, nothing has changed for this deck. Not a single thing. Not a single thing. Yes, you did lose combo Eldlich, but to be honest with you, trap-based Eldlich was probably the best way to go anyways. One thing that I love about this is that every Forbidden List, Konami seems to hit around Eldlich. I don't know, maybe they have a love fest for Eldlich, but easily you can say that the Hulk and Auroradon and the Predator Plant Vert Anaconda hits, just as they were for other strategies, it was 100% for combo Eldlich as well. What makes Eldlich so good is that it is a grind-based strategy, the best trap-based strategy where your trap cards pretty much recycle themselves. And of course, Eldlich the Golden Lord is really hard to deal with, almost indestructible, and can get over problematic threats by sending spell and trap cards from your hand to the graveyard. I feel that heroes are going to be a decent rogue deck. This is one of the best strategies to play Destiny Hero Phoenix Enforcer, and with the loss of Predator Plant Vert Anaconda, this just might easily be one of the only strategies that will play Destiny Hero Phoenix Enforcer, and you guys should already know how powerful that is. But the problems with heroes still persist. Making Dark Law Destiny Hero Phoenix Enforcer is not going to be the win con here. Making Destiny Hero Plasma, well, with Change of Heart, Mind Control, and cards like that being played, I don't think that's going to be the thing. I think the best strategy for this deck is to go second in OTK, and when a hero lives, being able to proc Stratos to your side of the field for free, that just might be the thing because you're on a time count the moment you activate a hero lives. Shaddolls, and this is gonna be another bold take, guys. Are you ready? Are you ready? Shaddolls are another one of those cusp, low-end tier 1, tier 2 strategies, and allow me to explain. Shaddoll Winda is going to be a catalyst against a lot of strategy. Yes, it will struggle against Eldlich. Yes, it will struggle against some of the other strategies that I'm going to mention, but Winda will literally win games. Also, Shaddoll can naturally run super polymerization, which allows you to fuse off your Shaddoll cards and your opponent's important cards to keep on comboing. The Branded engine is extremely powerful inside of this deck, and it's kind of like Branded, as polymerization to make Guardian Chimera will help you draw cards and break boards. I gotta say that Evil Twin, if I were to put somewhere, I think it is a very, very solid rogue deck. The problem with Evil Twin, or Live Twin Evil Twin, is that it's still a link deck, guys. And link decks feel like you get punished a little bit more if the only thing you do is link. This deck can play a plethora of hand traps, but what do you do when your opponent summons Flundereeze Impin? Like, your strategy does feel hurt a lot. I don't think it's a bad deck. I just think that in this format, you really want to be able to have your monsters have that flexibility to be summoned in defense and gain effects. As an engine, this could probably work inside of Unchained or Eldlich fairly well. Flundereeze, meta changer, guys. And that's the reason why I feel like some of these strategies aren't as powerful as they are, or in the case of Zombie World, are as powerful as they are. Flundereeze gained everything by the Mecha Phantom Beast engine being hit, and also Destiny Hero Phoenix Enforcer, and allow me to explain why. Book of Moon has literally become so powerful for this deck. It can be used offensively to be able to flip some of cards like Wandering Griffin Rider, which, you know, that negate will hurt, or being able to flip that Mirror Jade face down for them to be able to, or so you won't be able to stop their clutch play. Flundereeze is so meta warping that we already know what Dimensional Shifter does. It'll literally end most of these strategies turns. It is a deck to watch out for post-Dimension Force. And now that we have Pot of Desires at 2, guys, Gren Maju. Very, very solid tier rogue deck. Pot of Desires is going to help Gren Maju greatly, especially when it comes to 3, because summoning that Gren Maju to your side of the field at 4,000 attack is going to help. But the biggest thing that's going to help is interaction through the game. Destiny Hero Phoenix Enforcer would just destroy Gren Maju before it can resolve its effect, and that doesn't help. Now, it still has to deal with the problems of Mirror Jade, but just the fact that not every deck can run Mirror Jade, and not every deck is going to have that draw 2 free special summon and that free destruction to your Gren Maju, is going to make this strategy a lot stronger, a fairly solid rogue contender. Unchained goes rogue here. I don't think that it's a bad strategy at all. Less destruction is not great because you want destruction, but Unchained is still really, really, really good. I wouldn't sleep on this, as cards like Change Your Heart really does help the Unchained strategy, snatching your opponent's monsters, then linking them off into your Unchained monsters, which link off your opponent's cards. Fairly good and can play under Dimensional Shifter, which some of these decks just can't do. Earth Machine, I think we did some good testing. The new Therion's King Regulates does help this strategy a lot. It's going to be a very solid tier 2 deck that can play into the meta. It doesn't necessarily have any strengths against some of the other strategies, kind of unlike what Zombie World or the Dino deck does, other than its ability to be fairly resilient to hand traps. So watch out for that. Same thing with Agents, guys. Agents, whew, sleep on Agents. You guys are slept if you think that Agents are bad. This deck got better because of those outside extender engines being hit, giving this deck a lot less pressure to be able to play those cards, or pressure to be forced to play those cards, making it a solid deck. Also, with Artifact Scythe banned, yeah, you're going to have to look into your other outside sources that can summon Artifact Scythe. Our Lord Christie is an Artifact Scythe-like monster, right? Like, just prevent your opponent from special summoning in its entirety. This deck is pretty good. I'm going to make another bold take. This is going to be filled with bold takes since it's the beginning of the format. I think that Pendulum is going to be a solid tier 1 deck, possibly even better than the Shaddoll deck, and allow me to explain why. I just talked about how Artifact Scythe is a card that is going to be a lot harder to access because of Destiny Hero Phoenix Enforcer. Well, Pendulum really doesn't care. It didn't need Scythe. It just summons better on the floor and then special summon the Scythe from the graveyard, or it can use Artifact or Christian Hockley Fabrics to summon the TG Wonder Magician to destroy the Artifact Scythe that it searched. On top of that, with all of the support that just came off the Forbidden List and the support that it's getting from Dimension Force, this might be a very solid tier 1 deck. Plunder Patrol are going to be very solid tier 2. If you look at some of the top decks in Yu-Gi-Oh, most of the top decks in Yu-Gi-Oh, light and dark, that means Plunder Patrol, the fusion monster, Plunder Patrol ship lists. I'm pretty sure it's that one. That one allows you to be able to negate monster effects and can be summoned for free. And then Plunder Patrol ship Mork is the Exceed monster. That card's also amazing. Being able to freely get those to your side of the field is going to greatly help this deck. And without having to deal with multiple negates summoned through Auroradon or Destiny or Phoenix Enforcer trying to disrupt your combo, this became a little more solid. Prank Kids, guys. Despite what you believe, Prank Kids are solidly rogue. Now, granted, Meow Meow Mew band is like literally the biggest kick to the no-no parts that you'll ever witness from a strategy in recent time on the Forbidden List, but resolving a polymerization in your hand is still full combo for Prank Kids. You also still have the Adventure Token engine to be able to help you protect this. Prank Kids will recover as a very solid rogue deck because Battle Butler is still an unfair card, being able to wipe your opponent's entire board. Not as strong as it used to be, but not bad at all. Punks for right now are going to be rogue. Once we get to Power of the Elements, I think Punks will do a lot better, and I could be wrong right now because Therion Punk is looking really good. This deck gives you access to some really cool synchro monsters. I know that Chaotic Ruler is even easier to summon with this deck, and when Emergency Teleport to 3, you can do it. I really want to put this at tier 1. Rokket Dragon Link is going to be a solid tier 2 contender, and allow me to explain why. Rokket Dragon Link can consistently play through hand traps and end on boards with Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend and Heretic Seal. But in order to to force a negation All the opponent has to do is go normal summon Albaz. And now you're like, yo, like, I gotta do something to it. It really sucks because if you don't stop the Albaz, they'll wipe your entire board and they'll summon their Alba, which will not only fuel them. The benefit to this is that the Rokket Dragon Link strategy can play Alba itself, and it can play a Despia, or I'm sorry, a branded engine inside of it. The next problem with that is that Vert's now banned, because so you can't just access it. You either have to just go into Fusion Monsters or go into your Rokket Dragon Link play. So there's definitely gives and takes here. There's some pluses as well as some pretty big minuses. I think it's a solid tier 2 deck. Where do I put Salamangreat, guys? As a deck that just got Salamangreat circled off the list, it's Rogue. It's Rogue. And then you guys probably still want to see a deck profile. If you guys do, go ahead and let me know down below in the comment section, like this video and share it with a friend. But it's Rogue. Like, gaining a Salamangreat circle does nothing. It was like gaining Signet. Well, now we don't have to play Signet mining. Great. I mean, other than that, Salamangreat still has its flaws. It's a strategy that needs to be able to open its trap cards in order to validate the Salamangreat engine. And yes, it can play a bunch of hand traps, but so can other decks. I do love that this deck can make Access Code Talker, but to be honest with you, so can this deck make Access Code Talker with better boss monsters without their reliance on a card that's not as easily searchable. When we get to Gazelle to 3, we'll talk. Sky Striker did lose its potency status. I'm so sorry, Sky Striker players. The Adventure Token engine literally put 3 spell cards in your graveyard. You get your Rite of Aramacir, you can get your equipped spell cards to the graveyard, and then Vert Anaconda put it your Fusion Destiny to summon Phoenix Enforcer, 3 spell cards off of a 1-card combo. That being hit definitely throws Sky Striker into an array. I still think maybe one of the better ways to play Sky Striker is go second and play a ton of great spell cards, but losing that definitely raises some question marks around Sky Striker. Now here's going to be another bold take, guys. Sunavalon is tier 1. Sunavalon, you did not see that coming, did you? Sunavalon is tier 1. This deck has an insane 1-card combo, and it is ridiculous. It has ways to protect the combo. Destiny Hero Phoenix Enforcer being hit is only a help to this deck. You better watch out for Sunavalons, guys. And if you want to see that combo again, let me know down below in the comment section. I'll be able to show you how powerful this deck is and how close it is to creeping to that tier 1 status. Swordsoul, easily a meta changer, guys. Now that we know that Artifact Scythe won't be played in every single deck and can't just be manipulated through Destiny Hero Phoenix Enforcer, this deck reclaims into the meta changer strategy. It feels almost invincible if it weren't for the Aurora Dawn ban, which will allow them to combo through hand traps. This deck is a little more susceptible, but 1-card synchro summons have never felt so good. Phantom Knights, with losing Destiny Hero Phoenix Enforcer, well, not Destiny Hero Phoenix Enforcer, but Predaplant, Vert Anaconda, I think we're going to go ahead and revert them back to probably one of the best rogue decks. This deck is solid. It's actually amazing in a grind, and I think you really have to respect that. But ultimately, I think you're going to go back to where we were looking before, trying to find the correct cards to play in a Phantom Knight to fulfill that extra deck and all of those free special summons that we get. I'm going to go ahead and make another bold take and say that Therion build, maybe even just Therion Punk. I think Therion Punk might be tier 1 as well, but Therion in totality is tier 1. It's damn near a meta changer because the Therion cards help so many of these strategies become relevant. So I'm going to go ahead and say Therion as a pure version and as helping other decks is definitely too strong inside of this format. Tri-Brigade is tier 2. Sorry, Tri-Brigade players. Losing that Vert definitely sucks, and allow me to explain why. Your Tri-Brigade cards are still amazing, but when your Tri-Brigade cards get hand trapped, your best thing was to make the Vert Anaconda summon DPE and gain resources on the crackback. Unfortunately, losing that is going to be huge for Tri-Brigade players, Tri-Brigade branded players, but I think you'll find a way to recover. Virtual World is solidly tier 2. Pot of Desires is definitely going to help this deck a lot. What we started to realize is that the consistency for this strategy started to get affected with Pot of Desires being limited, and getting that back for this deck is amazing. And even if you don't decide to play that, there's still Swordsoul Virtual World, which is still good. There's Adventure Token Virtual World, really good. Punk Virtual World, really good. Like, so this deck still has options, even if you decide not to play the Pot of Desires build. Now, Based is easily, oh no, what are you doing, baby? Do not play this deck, guys. Rose Dragon to 1, Aurora Dawn banned. Huckley Firebricks to 1. Do not play. Don't even attempt. Stop. Just stop. It's not good. It's not happening. Just no longer a playable deck. Now, where exactly will we put Yatagarasu, guys? Where we put the Yatagarasu lockdown deck, guys? Yo, summon Chaos Emperor. Destroy everything on the field. Send Sangan to the graveyard. Search Yatagarasu. Summon it and attack for game. Well, there's multiple problems with that. First of all, both Chaos Emperor Dragon and Sangan have been errated, so that's not happening. There is Sky Scourge Neuralis, but again, Sangan's been errated, so that's not necessarily happening. This is genuinely an overreaction from everybody. Oh no, what are you doing, baby? This is not a strategy that will prevail in 2022 Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm sorry, Yu-Gi boomers. Stop trying to go back in time and try to make your bad strategies good. I know, it was really powerful back in the day. Here's your milk, old man, go back to sleep. And that is all that we have for the meta tier list post the May 2022 Forbidden List. I want you guys to let me know, did I misplace some of these strategies? Are they too high? Are some too low? Let me know down below in the comment section, what are the strategies that I missed, as well as where should certain strategies be? Also, if you guys want to see more amazing content, you can go ahead and check out these videos and Master Duel Cali for Master Duel content, as I'll catch you on the next one.